r/ask Reddit. What is slowly gaining popularity that most people don't know about yet? Passive solar designed homes. More and more people are figuring out that if their house designed correctly, they will save on energy costs for the life of the house. I've been designing a passive solar earth-bermed house for 5-8 years. I have the land, but banks won't loan you money when you tell them you want to bury your house. I'll have to save for another 8-10 years in order to pay cash, but it'll be awesome when it's done. Board games. There has been a steady rise over the last 10-15 years of really high quality and interesting games. Most people still think of games like Monopoly and Clue, but the field has really grown. Yes, the instant classic The Cones of Dunshire. Are the cones a metaphor? Yes, and number. I agree with this one. A group of people at work and now a close friend as well are always asking me to go over for board game night, and all the games they say they'll be playing I've never even heard of. Dash cams are slowly making a rise. Great for insurance reasons and possibility of catching accident in action. I'm amazed the car industry hasn't cottoned onto this yet. We've already got cameras all over the thing. Why don't they throw in a built-in dash cam as an optional extra? Plus you could build it into the car on a software level, so it automatically saves footage in the event of the airbags or alarm going off. I turned on ESPN2 today and saw the Drone Racing League. So that's a thing now. Sounds like something that should be on the Ocho with dodgeball. It's the most cyberpunk thing I've ever seen in real life. Flying machines covered in LEDs controlled by guys wearing VR goggles in a damp and rusty abandoned warehouse. Duck, yeah, this makes me want to watch it more. It's the perfect thing to watch in Google Cardboard or Gear VR. Tacos for breakfast, lunch and dinner. This is what Mexicans have done for decades. We call it the taco diet. 10 out of 10. In Mexico we also call tacos tortas, tostadas, etc. Vitamin T. Moissanite engagement rings. Beautiful colorless gems that are almost as hard as diamonds. 9.2 versus 10. Conflicts free. Almost impossible to tell apart from diamonds. And 1 out of 10 the cost. There is becoming almost no reason to buy a diamond. Escape rooms. I feel so bad for the people that own one of these places. The boom is real right now, but I cannot imagine it's going to keep up for long. If they keep changing rooms, swapping themes, new storylines and clues, they do fine. We have a local one that changes a room out every 8-12 months. Their repeat customers love it. Nationalism. I think politicians really underestimate the level of seething anger the population has toward them. Board games are having a golden age. Dozens and dozens of great games are coming out every year, building on what designers are learning from other great designers and tons of community involvement. There are board games to suit literally every taste, including if you don't like playing games with other people. If you like board games but all you've played is Monopoly or Catan, I strongly encourage you to go to a board game meetup. Check meetup.com or take a look around r/boardgames here on Reddit. It's a great time to love analog gaming. One of the coolest pubs I've been to was the Boardroom Cafe in Halifax. There's probably similar places around. Basically go in with some friends, get beers and snacks, and choose from a huge selection of great board games. They're mostly really easy to learn and the staff will help out if you have questions. Nanotechnology in medicine. Medical advances are weird because of the protracted clinical trial system we have. It goes like this. Radical new technology is shown to work in rat models, and so it goes to clinical trials. Meanwhile, all the sensationalist sites get a hold of the study and report on said radical new technology as if it's going to start saving human lives tomorrow, because the technology is still being tested. However, it doesn't show up for a while, and people either forget about it or dismiss the initial reports as pure hype or a false alarm. But then a few years pass, and the new tech gets talked about more and more. By the time it finishes testing, it no longer seems new or radical, and next thing you know the new tech is everywhere. The point of all this is, nanotechnology in medicine is going to be like that. It's already showing massive promise, and animal model results, in areas like oncology and cardiology. These treatments seem radical now, but don't be surprised when nanoparticles are a super common cancer treatment in just a few years. I read this in Popular Science in the 90s. Still waiting. Climbing, bouldering, as a sport. It's crazy. I remember a few years ago nobody would be doing it and there would be hardly any gyms. Now, in Germany, there are many gyms and a lot of people who are going climbing instead of to a regular gym. It's still slowly catching up in other countries, but here it's definitely not the niche it used to be anymore. Maybe it's because of where I live, but bouldering has been a big thing here in Colorado for at least a decade if not longer. Do you live in Boulder? Big, if true. Where I live, lower waste activities are becoming more and more popular. For instance, thrift shopping, using your own water bottle instead of buying plastic, and composting everything. Many young people I know are turning away from materialistic activities and instead getting into gardening and hiking, activities that cost less and provide more long-lasting joy. Minimalism is also becoming much more popular. I read a different article almost every week about millennials killing an industry. Said industries include diamonds, anti-aging products, breakfast cereal and diet yogurt. If I were to guess, I think it's because most millennials are too broke to spend money on luxuries that either don't work, diet yogurt, anti-aging products, or no longer carry the same sort of high status that they once did. Diamonds. I love seeing articles that allege millennials are killing an industry. No, we're jaded from all the dubious advertising we've been inhaling since we were old enough to sit in front of a TV. We've had to answer phones for older relatives being told that their credit cards are about to expire, or that their computer has been hacked. Fundamentally unethical business practices, circumventing the ubiquity of advertising, are the reason most of these industries are dying. Edit. Rowie. One of my highest rated comments. Thanks folks. I hope this fueled lots of constructive discussion. I read the killing an industry part as uplifting. Economic growth doesn't have to be destructive and can't be the ultimate goal of a healthy society. I'm super stoked to see millennials' behavior having an incidental effect that I consider to be very positive, especially since I'm one of those people who loves to look down on the entire generation even though I have no right to. Frederick Douglass. He's being recognized more and more. Great guy. Friend of mine. Can you believe it? No. Digital currency. Nice to have a little Bitcoin at the moment. When Bitcoin was still in the $300, I had $20 of it stowed away just for the heck of it. I pulled it out when I needed gas one day, and 2 years later I regret the decision. YouTube is the primary source for new talent. YouTube will be bigger than the TV networks someday. Until YouTube's shitty administration accidentally kills it. CRISPR-Cas9. It is a biological method to cut DNA precisely. It also promises fast and cheap genome editing and the possibility to get rid of diseases like AIDS. Detroit. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. As someone who has had this city be part of their whole life, this post made me happy. Wheat-themed coffee shops in the US. There are coffee shops setting up inside cities that are just coffee shops now but are basically ready to immediately switch gears to smoke and coffee lounges when the inevitable legalization comes about. It's absurd that I as a 35-year-old person can't just buy weed here in Sterling, VA. I'm not hip with the kids so I don't know where to get it. Feels bad, man. Beef milk. It's like almond milk but it's squeezed through tiny holes in a living cow. Apparently there's a lot of money out there for someone who invents a board game about climbing rocks in Detroit. Kids and vaping. I didn't realize how many kids 16-18 vaped until I hung out with my stepbrother and his friends before his graduation last weekend. I really shouldn't be surprised but it's just strange to see people forming their nicotine addiction with a vape instead of using it to stop one. But whatever. I would have done the same thing if vapes were around when I was in school. Virtual reality. Not Oculus. Octopus ate Chinese octopus recipes. Rugby in the US. Podcasts. For Americans. Eurovision. I've been watching by myself for the past few years so it's nice that it's starting to gain some popularity here in the States. I finally know a couple of people I can discuss it with. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.